amazing match point. What athleticism.
And there you have it, your APTA national champions.
Best match of the year.
Brilliant shot.
Incredible stuff. And it's sitting up and he's right there.
Morning. Welcome to the 22-23 APTA Tour. We're live from the legendary Philly Cricket Club, bringing you the Philly Cricket Classic, which is the third stop on the APTA Tour. Sponsored by the APTA membership, the APTA national sponsors, Paddle Pro and Fusion, as well as local sponsors, Falcon, Pond Lahaki, Team Wiesel, Fiduciary Trust International, BLB&B Advisors LLC, SSH Real Estate, and Total Platform Tennis. I'm Mark Fischel, along with Brad Easterbrook, bringing you this final match. Brad, why don't you introduce the players?
Absolutely, Mark. It's a pleasure to be here. Some exciting paddle is about to begin, and on the top left of our screen, we have Philip Rams in the, I don't know, what color would you call that? Fuchsia?
Mauve?
Mauve?
Fuchsia? I like
okay,
fuchsia.
Sounds good. It's not, I don't think it's bright enough for that. Anyway, that's Philip Rams on the top left of the screen, top right of your screen. His partner, Martin Bostrom. And on the bottom here, or to the left of our screen, we have Graham McNerney in the deuce court, and his partner, Randy Lofgren. And should be a great match. Number 1 and number 2 seeds. We have 2 brand new partnerships out there, Mark. When we take a quick look at the draw, see how they got there.
Yeah, neither team really gave up much yesterday. Lofgren and McNerney had a tough first set. Grangiero Lelic, but other than that, it was pretty much clear sailing for them. But let's talk a little bit about Bostrom and Rams, 2 guys that have never played together in a tournament, 2 extremely talented players. They didn't quite fit together yesterday, but Bradford, you've moved around, played with a lot of guys, being as desirable a partner as you are.
Absolutely. I had to ask a lot of people, Mark.
Yeah, talk a little bit about how you see these guys fit together.
You know, that's the great question. I mean, Bostrom's, the way I see it fitting is Bostrom's one of the best ball strikers in the game, still is today. And Rams is great at blitzing. He's a great ball striker in his own right, great forehand, tricky backhand, but extremely quick, loves the hand-to-hand battle. So if they can find a way to marry those 2 things. The problem is both players have been used to playing with partners where they're doing more. You can't have 2 players doing more all the time. Sort of special emphasis pass with Mike Wagner, and he was doing all the blitzing. Wagner rolls, cover for Rams behind, serve and stay back. And Bostrom the same thing. So they're just going to have to find a way to use their skills to the maximum ability. But I see it as Bostrom looking to strike and Rams looking to blast. Now that being said, on the flip side, you have Lofgren and McNerney. Both of those guys, they get about, Mark, an inch from the net when they're playing the net. Both of them get right on top. And they do that because they're tall, number 1, so they can cover the lobs a little better going back. And number 2, they're very good at stopping blitzes by getting so close to the net. So what do you think about Lofgren and McNerney's skill set working together?
Well, these guys have played together a number of times, good friends. And they complement each other because Lofgren's got one of the best backhands in the country.
Yeah, great backhand.
McNerney's a tremendous lobber and very patient and is very good at putting the ball in the right places. Wants to hit a lot of overheads. Lofgren's very happy sitting on the net, letting McNerney hit the overheads. So I think they fit together nicely.
Yeah, it should be a great matchup today. Looking forward to it. Got a beautiful day again. It's finally getting a little chilly out there. It's sunny, and you can see the sun coming in from your right side of your screen. That means that on this far side, go into that forehand, be some sun issues, but I expect the players will deal with it perfectly as they usually do.
Yesterday we saw Grangero and Lalich staying back a lot. The sun was such a problem in the afternoon. They basically retreated and gave up the net on a regular basis. The Bostrom Rams is just a fascinating team to me. I mean, Martin Bostrom, with the possible exception of Steve DeRose, who's not playing actively these days, is probably the best player not to have won a Nationals. Just as you mentioned earlier, just a tremendous ball striker. Martin's issue has always been that he tends to phase in and out a little bit. You know, a couple of times a match, he'll miss a lob by 3 boards wide. And it's something he's very much aware of and is really focused on.
Right, you know, and even last year, I mean, they pretty much gave our champions all they could handle in the
quarterfinals and
nationals, and he always has that. But then you would see that game where he was trying to do something different, bullet serve in the corner, right, as hard as he can, but he faulted for. It's always just been a question of putting the pieces together, and didn't wait for an entire match or even an entire tournament. He clearly has the talent to do it. He can finish a ball terrifically. He has great ball striking from the backcourt. You know, volleys would be, if there's a weakness with that.
Maybe the best serve in the country.
One of them, for sure. You know, but it's still super solid. You're right. He's definitely in the conversation if he could put his pieces together to win a national championship, without a doubt. So it's a great matchup, and he and Rams have incredible firepower. The key is, how are they going to put the pieces together? And you have Rams in the deuce court, which actually, in my mind, gets rid of one of their problems right away. You know, Bostrom's backhand is probably better than his forehand, but his forehand's excellent. You know, Rams is used to moving to his right and covering that middle ball from the deuce side. I think Rams is going to do a lot of blitzing and let Bostrom clean up the balls in the middle. I expect to see that.
Interestingly, both Graham and Philippe Rams are living in Pittsburgh these days, so playing a lot of paddle against each other, I'm sure. So you think that the familiarity would benefit both of them.
Yeah, I'd be curious. I asked you before when we were off air, Mark, if any of these partnerships, if Bostrom and Rams is just on time together. This is an interesting thing. I love seeing new teams out there and seeing how it develops.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see. Bostrom was a little bit non-committal this year in terms of how much he was going to play. Wasn't quite sure. But I guess when you find somebody that fits together really well, sometimes that answers the question.
All right, I'm sure our umpire is going to get in here pretty soon. They're taking serves. Umpire Pete Kajaka in the chair.
There's Pete, legendary Philadelphia figure.
He looks comfortable out there. You know, it's like sort of like my cat on the high cat tree, just surveying the ground.
In charge of everything.
In charge of all. Right.
Cat is certainly in charge of all.
So any pre-game picks, Mark?
You know, it's a little bit like we talked about last weekend, where the highs of Bostrom and Rams are certainly higher than Lofgren and McNerney, but I know what I'm going to get from Lofgren and McNerney. Don't know what I'm going to get from Bostrom Rams.
But then again, we thought that last week with McNerney and Compton, and all the cylinders all the time.
Yep.
We're looking forward to a great match, and it should be a lot of highlight reel stuff. I'm curious. I'd like to see Lofgren and McNerney also do a little floating eye today. I think putting one of them right on top of net's not a bad idea. The difference is they don't have that big transition guy who moves back and strikes the ball from the backcourt, but they have experience of playing together on their side.
This is one of those rare paddle matches, Bradford, that you could see going either way. I mean, I would say that 95% of the paddle matches you watch, you kind of have a pretty good idea who's going to win. And this one, you can really see it going either way.
Definitely.
Randy Lofgren, and from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Graham McNerney. And on my right, Martin Bostrom from Union, New Jersey. And from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Philippe Rams. Bostrom and Rams won the toss and elected to receive.
All right, and a quick shout out here before we get going to Sue Pajaka, who is an APTA board member and head of the league committee and doing a great job for the ATPA leagues around the country.
Okay, so Randy Lofgren possesses one of the best sidearm serves in the country. He'll get it started. Serving to Philippe Rams, the black shirt and the white hat. Very monochromatic.
I'm liking it. Philippe Rams is always stylish.
Everything about Philippe's game is stylish.
Beautiful forehand. There's something you don't see it often right there on the first point. Rams moving out of the way to let Bostrom get a ball into the middle. He dumped that ball in the wrong spot. Rams slides over and crushes a forehand.
Bradford, Lofgren's got one of the most open-stanced sidearm serves we've seen. Can you talk a little bit about the difference between that, when people who do it closed versus open?
I personally believe the open stance is the way to do it. You know, the closed stance, it's sort of like as you would come in to display an approach shot, frequently you'd be off your right foot. It allows him to bring his left foot into the court as soon as he hits it, so he actually starts getting to the net a little quicker.
I think it's 15-30.
Yes.
Got last ball from Rams was long. Get our scoreboard updated.
There's Bostrom hitting the forehand. Bostrom's got that easy power. Like, it barely looks like he's swinging at all, and the ball moves fast. He does a great job changing the pitch.
So heavy.
Yep. Hey, it's a good job by Rams leaving that ball for Bostrom. I like what I'm seeing early. I don't even mind that miss there. High part of the net, though. It's got to make him hit it.
Lofgren McNerney switching at the net. Boy, Bostrom wants that one back.
Yeah. You know, those are balls, and that's essentially right there in a nutshell is sort of what you would talk about. That happens from time to time with Bostrom, right? You hate that he drive. He sometimes over can play a shot here and there, but then it's brilliance. Quite a bit. That's a great spot there from Rams.
Finding that right hip.
Long. See, there you have two big points on break points. So we have a forehand and a lob long. And that, in a nutshell, would be what it is. You know, it's really the discipline. That's a huge forehand, great dig. The discipline of, like, if you're on a break point on a huge shot like that, and you have a forehand, that's not a layup. Hit it up so it's a foot over the net, right? So you have to make the guy volley. Understand you're going to miss balls, of course. But that's really just the only difference, sort of, in the Bostrom game.
Yep. And then the lob was just careless.
Yep.
No other description for that miss.
That's a great pickoff.
Here we see the team switched, and the Lofgren backhand is just a tremendous weapon, and they're big option for the backcourt.
And it's good. The spot that you could dump it to is the McNerney backhand. But there you go. He goes for the cut. Nice.
The middle of the court, you think, would be very safe for Bostrom Rams.
It's the safest spot. Don't overhit it because they both have good screen drives. This is a smartphone from McNerney and Lofgren. They're going to make them work hard. Great roller.
Well, you don't like that? What an overhead you hit. Fooled everyone.
We haven't talked about tempo, but clearly the faster the play, the more it benefits Bostrom Rams.
No question. The break point here for Bostrom Rams.
Good to see Lofgren McNerney really grinding. Wow. That might not have been a layup, but it was pretty close.
But I'm going with it again, though. It's a good swing. You know, just got to go a little higher. I mean, this guy hit the volley. Next one. But they got to hit their shots. That's good overhead there. Rams.
Talk a little bit about how committed Lofgren's been to playing, living down in the Charlotte area without a lot of competition. He and his regular partner, Nathan Crick, have done a lot of traveling. Everything is 8 hours for them.
Right. I mean, yeah, absolutely. He also sits on the EPA board. You know,
Players Committee.
Players Committee. I mean, he's been active in every aspect of the game. In fact, I met him many years ago when he was first getting certified. I went down to their club, an
Old Providence.
Club in North Carolina there, and it's a great spot.
I think they've got 27 tennis courts.
Yeah, it's amazing.
In fact, early on when the APTA did a grant for them, I went down there with Martin Bostrom. And we did an exhibition and a clinic where Lofgren was just starting to play again. Went to school at Denison in Ohio and had gotten away from paddle down in Charlotte because he had no other options. Like a kid in a candy store when we installed the courts.
Yeah, and Lofgren and Crick have been a mainstay. You know, not quite able to break through, but giving everybody all they can handle on the way.
Go set up a Broderick and Palmer at 2020 Nationals. There's a swing and a miss from Lofgren. And, game point number 5, I believe.
Yep, fifth break point here.
Ernie sliding over to the backhand side of the net at the overheads.
Constantly do that. Yeah, Lofgren at the net is extremely useful at picking balls off and hitting drop shots if you don't hit a strong drive. That's a great cut.
I got it.
Nice combinations there. That's going to do it. Beautifully done. They're going to have to lob a little better than that, but awesome job by McNerney. Some fun highlight reel stuff there.
Let's see if we get a replay of that between games. That's great action.
And what a good bail. Smart move from McNerney to go back. If you had to choose a team, Mark, in terms of defense at the net, which one would you do, or the ability to kind of take more drives?
I would say Lofgren and McNerney.
Yeah, you'd say the edge goes to them in their net defense, but the edge goes to the ball striking in the backcourt, unquestionably with Boston and Rams.
And I think the larger edge is in the backcourt ball striking.
Yes.
Return a serve.
Agreed, but another missed lob down the line. It's great points here.
There's Lofgren all over the net. So I'm close there as I saw Rams going to drive that ball.
Long. Is that the first game point, I think?
Yeah,
I think it's been
point.
6 break points in a row, and I think it's the first game point here for.
I got it.
Oh, smart move there. Boston has a drive, but passes it up to move him back off the net again.
Not a lot of drives Bostrom passes up.
And he's spin working on Rams. Oh, and there's
3 boards wide, that ball?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great game. A lot of great points back and forth. I mean, it just comes down to, 2 missed drives and 3 missed lobs.
And that is the match in a microcosm that we just saw in that first game. You're going to see a lot of long grinding points when it gets going fast, and they're all such a great driving. That's going to benefit Bostrom and Rams. And when it's slow and patient and a lot of overheads and lobbing, that's going to benefit Lofgren and McNerney.
I would say both teams played that the way they wanted to. You know, exactly the way they wanted to.
You just, at this level, you cannot afford to give away points. And missing 2 lobs, one on a return of serve and one lob 3 is just, that just kills you. Okay, Philippe Rams to serve. It's more of the closed variety on his sidearm serve. Some of the screen driving you referred to earlier. He's got a really sneaky backhand.
Yeah, both those guys can drive it off the screen great, Lofgren and McNerney. Almost, well, I mean, Lofgren off the deck is great with his backhand, period. But McNerney's better off the screen.
Absolutely.
Forehand and backhand. He's better off the screen than he is off the deck.
Although we did see a very much improved forehand from McNerney last weekend in Medina. It's a good return of serves.
Nice shot, catches Bostrom on the forehand volley. Needed to move over a couple of boards there, but great spot from Lofgren. Quick turnaround backhand from Rams.
Interesting that Rams is going side up to McNerney, who poses much less of a threat in return to serve, and overhand to Lofgren. I don't know if that's backhand, forehand related in terms of his comfort level. Going overhand again here.
Yeah, in this instance, I don't disagree. That's why, right there in a nutshell, is he'll hit the one to the deuce side. He can cut it and get that spin into the side wire with the righty serve there. On this side, he can't do it as well.
But he's got to get to the side wire if he's going to hit that hard serve to the left court.
He did on the last one. The one before, Lofgren cut it off and slammed it down his throat. That's going to be the key. And Lofgren's got a great backhand. So serving up into it consistently is not going to be easy.
How many overhead lob misses have we seen from Lofgren and McNerney in the first 2 games?
0, right? Yeah, no question.
Right.
I mean,
and yet from Bostrom Rams, we've seen 5, 6.
It's going to be the match right there. All right, 2-0. And that's just errors, once again. But early on still. Terrific volley at his feet. Probably should have let it go off the screen. Tried to make a tough half volley.
Great serve from McNerney.
Switch at the net again. Off from McNerney. Oh!
Would you describe that as a jump from Bostrom, or your feet
jump.
have to leave the ground to qualify?
To qualify, I mean, it was an attempted jump. Actually, it was a great read. Both Lofgren and McNerney have 2 of the better, as tall guys, 2 of the better waterfall overheads or down-up overheads. A lot of club players learn how to push the ball deep. These guys hit the ball down into the box because they can get so high and get it over their opponent. That's the next space that you can use, and they're 2 of the best in the game.
McNerney is such a versatile player. We've seen him now 3 weeks in a row with 3 different partners, getting deep into tournaments.
Oh, there's no question. Great read there. And that's where he actually anticipates that Rams is going to go with that quick backhand. He watches his paddle. If the paddle doesn't get open and under the ball, And if it stays flat and behind it, you can see the possible drive coming. He jumps the route, gets right on top, drop shot winner. Beautiful play there.
It's a great lead from McNerney.
Yep. Well, he was doing it again, taking a risk, but he knew his partner was back covering him. That's what you can do once you have the good teamwork just long.
A little bit to me like a baseball hitter at a 3-1 count who's looking for one pitch in one spot and lets everything else go through.
That's exactly right. You're playing the net. Oh, he gave him a slower serve there. Ball hung up, and Rams does not move forward. So great start for McNerney. And Lofgren, they are just doing exactly what they want. And Bostrom, Rams have got to be kicking themselves a little bit.
You can see how comfortable Lofgren and McNerney are. They're buddies. They play together a lot. Just comfortable on the court, know what to expect from each other. McNerney played Montclair with Juan Araya, which had to have been a chore for him. Lost in the semis to Durant. Then played the Medina Cup with his normal partner, Brian Compton, lost in the finals. And then now here with Lofgren in the finals again. Testimony to your game that you can fit playing with so many people so well.
Yeah, no question. And McNerney is one of those players. And he's also a player that believes in learning more. And the more he plays with different partners, the more he rounds out his own game.
This set is going fast.
Yep.
And those are the errors you live with, because Lofgren's backhand is their weapon, and you want him swinging at it, especially on return to serve. That's tough transition in the warm weather. Even from McNerney, who's one of the best volleyers in the country.
Yeah, the transition ball is tough, and McNerney's exceptional in the hand-to-hand combat moving forward. But that ball gets missed more than any other ball in the game almost.
After 3 really fast points, I look for a long one here from Lofgren McNerney.
There's Bostrom cutter, nice dig for McNerney. That's a great shot.
Catches the nick, and they're on the board.
But you got to say, Lofgren and McNerney get a little off script in that game. A couple of fast points. They want to grind out as much as possible.
A lot of missed forehands from Rams in the first 4+ games. It's usually a very reliable shot.
I got it.
They're going to have to lob better. Short lobs. Hurt. Bostrom get that lob up deeper.
That's the type of shot selection you have to question. When things are going good, I like it. When you're struggling like this, you got to put the ball in play.
Yeah, a lot of it has to do too with your position. Rams wasn't moving forward. McNerney wasn't off the net. So you'd have to hit a perfect shot to even make a difference with him anyway. So it's not worth the risk. If you're not moving forward, the key would be blitzing behind it anyway. Right? That's a great shot there. I think caught off the top of the net, hit Lofgren in the hip.
Great return there from Bostrom. That backhand, so much variety.
Yeah, like you mentioned before, it's a heavy ball, but he actually sometimes just changes the pace on it.
Great lob from Rams there, forces our first overhead error from Lofgren McNerney. Chance to get back on serve here. the net.
Now you hear Bostrom call "help me," and anytime the ball he thinks is going near the corner, he's going to call for help from his partner and play up the line. It's a smart move. You'll hear it probably at least a dozen times during the match.
It was interesting. Yesterday there was some confusion with the umpire. The umpire thought Martin had called a serve out, and actually on the serve he was asking for help, which was very reminiscent of George Wilkinson, because you can't get any help on the serve.
You can't help on the serve, right? I need some help, but that's the one shot you get no help with. You must return it. That's it.
You may need help. I'm just not sure where it's coming from.
And there you go, McNerney calling help again.
Okay, so back on serve.
Back on serve, and it's great play, but it's interesting, though, that the games that Bostrom and Lofgren lost, they were longer, and the games they won came fast, right?
Yep.
So let's talk quickly about one of our great sponsors, Paddle Pro. Over 20 years, Paddle Pro has been recognized as an industry leader in platform tennis. The knowledge, expert advice, vast inventory, and ultimate customer service will help any player find the perfect equipment to take your game to the next level. Paddle Pro is the only website to carry all platform tennis brands. For more information, go to www.paddlepro.com. Right, so sort of on script, 2 fast games lost and 3 long games won from McNerney. And that's partly, they had 1 quick game in there, but it's partly also just due to Rams and Bostrom. If they're making these incredible drives, like Bostrom had a winning drive in the last game, they're tough. And if they're missing them,
Missed lob there. Again, some fast points.
great serve. Lofgren's going to have to move up the wire more and cut that one off. Oh, tricky little spot from McNerney.
You mean right on Bostrom's backhand?
Ah, he slid it a little to the side.
Great volley from Rams. Salvages a poor overhead.
That's a great cut overhead, and the spin pops off Graham's paddle, McNerney's paddle, which is wide.
40-15. McNerney's kind of left the building a little bit the last 10 minutes. Well, Rams takes Bostrom's cut overhead there.
Bob there from Lofgren. This is a great point from Lofgren. McNerney. Slow it down, take the right drive at the right time. They're lobbing them past the service line and driving when they're off. This is paddle 101, and they find their spot. They finally force the weak volley. Coming in clean up. Good job.
Spot on, Bradford. I agree completely. Great roller, finds the nick.
That's a great shot to finish out that game. They're back to even, 3-all. Are they 2 or 3 balls, though, from Lofgren there? He misjudged the serve coming in there, and that ball at the right at the crease, got to block that one. You know, it's interesting when I knew we were watching these guys and we got on off air. I was asking you who played the deuce side with Bostrom and Rams, because I thought it might be Bostrom in the deuce because his backhand is so good in the center and Rams is a terrific forehand. Do you think one way or the other would be better, or it's still they just got to work it out however they're doing it?
I think Bostrom is a better player in the deuce court than the ad court.
That's kind of what I was thinking too.
So I'm in line with that. It'd be interesting to see if they tried it different ways during the tournament. Bostrom's backhand over there does take away that side wire and really penalizes you. If you're trying to do that up-down overhead, he likes to blitz that ball. But I think to your point, as you said, it's just what they're comfortable with as new players trying out together.
That's a good ball there. And that's set up because Rams has to move to this inside to hit that drive, and then they volley behind him. He's more natural moving from the ad court straight ahead using the forehand, having not number. That's just great volley.
There's that backhand we talked about, but that's a ball Lofgren just has to put back in play.
That's a great shot. Yeah, Bostrom's backhand is not only just heavy, incredibly hard to read. It's actually probably one of the hardest shots I've ever had to read playing against.
For us lesser players, it's unreadable.
It's going to get just perfect down the line again.
So much variety out of that shot.
As ball strikers too, though, you have to take your swings till you find your range. Oftentimes, and it really seems like their range has improved now.
I think most of the balls they've driven have been the right balls. I remember that one Rams backhand, a little bit deep in the court, but all the misses from Bostrom on the drives have been the right shot, just failure to execute what he's missed.
A little bit. I mean, by right shot for me, I almost mean like he's got to get it a little higher over the net. He doesn't have to hit it like, it's just those ones in the net.
Yeah, well, you never want to miss in the net, obviously.
It's, again, perfect point for McNerney and Lofgren. I feel like the longer it goes, yeah, you could say that these guys will find a nick, but if they lob well to the service line, I feel like Bostrom and Rams may get antsy.
And hit a bad overhead like that.
Yeah. That's a great shot. That's a perfect point.
So important for McNerney when he hits that overhead to Bostrom to find that side wire. And there he failed to find it, and that led to this whole sequence.
People talk about how the game is the same as it used to be in the old days and in the past, how it's changed. And you see a lot of these guys constantly hitting spin overhead cuts hard. The overheads are harder, more spin. And while they do put a lot more pressure on the opponent, they're harder to control, right? So the ball comes off the wire. It's not exactly perfect. See, one of the biggest differences in the old days is missed a lot less. But they would put a ball in play that had a lot less pressure. So the points would go on and on and on. But the other guy wouldn't get an opportunity to drive it. It would be much harder. And now it's just a lot more emphasis on trying to play the ball with some pressure and spin. And when you do that, run the risk of missing your spots more often. So you're using more transition plays. So it's just it's sort of a different animal than that. The transition and the spin has just created more transition game, actually, honestly.
Again, great tempo from Lofgren McNerney.
They are really going after Lofgren now. I think it's about 10-1 now. It's a lot easier for the righties to attack that side, but I wonder if it's just a tactical thing or they think it's, you know, they haven't gone one time, you know, other than dumping the ball to McNerney forehand over into his corner. I think it's actually a smart play, but you are flirting with the ball from backer. But there they got him to bite on one after punishing him for 15, 20 balls. This is wrong. Deuce.
Didn't mind the swing from Lofgren. Thought it was a good ball to hit, but again, to your point, ball you got to put in play at that moment of the match.
This
Ball from McNerney.
Good swing, but to me it looked like he was getting a little frustrated too. You know, they were coming after him. He wasn't able to control the point with his lobs. He was just getting the ball back. Ooh, slippery little ball.
Great close from Lofgren there. Better lobbing right now from Bostrom and Rams. Really opening up the court.
You know, in those first 3 games, we saw a couple of McNerney putaways and him hitting 4 or 5 balls inside the service box. They locked him.
It's so ironic to me, Bradford, that with all the new shots, the roller, the cut, so many of these matches come back down to who's going to lob better.
Yeah, no, there's no question. That's what I was kind of bringing up before a little bit. The game, while it's changed, it remains the same in its fundamentals. Lob well, you get more opportunities. You can place your lobs well. If you give your opponents opportunities with your overheads, right? If you don't place your overheads well, they're going to. So
Four consecutive games for Bostrom Rams. They have really steadied the ship and look very comfortable right now at the net together. Bostrom has really imposed his will with that backhand. That's been a major factor of the match.
He found his range with it for sure. And, you know, McNerney and Lofgren, would you say, I think there were a couple of games that I think they got too fast in. Here they're still doing a lot of stuff, but I think what it did is it almost gave the spark or the jump start to, you know, Bostrom and Rams. And Bostrom and Rams, they're like a freight train running. You know, and you've seen this from guys who are great players and great front runners. The more they play well, you know, the more they go. With these guys, and they become like a steam train. These guys just got to slow it down.
Yeah, exactly.
Train, you know.
Take one.
Yeah, the 3-1 and the 3-2 games are both very fast from Lofgren and McNerney. And that's where I think things really turned around. Let's see if they can turn them around again. Of course, it wouldn't be a paddle match if there weren't at least 12 change of directions in the first set.
Absolutely right. And as much as we're talking about this right now, we've also seen, you know, Bostrom and Rams, they haven't missed a drive, or very many at all in the last 3 or 4. They're going to keep hitting them. Eventually, they're going to start missing them again. It's going to be momentum shifts.
Although also to their credit is they haven't missed any lobs of late, which we saw so much of early.
Yep. Yeah, I think there were 5 missed lobs in the first 2 games, or 5 or 6. And when you talk about the way the game changed, if you miss 5 lobs in the old days, that was like a whole match worth. Yeah, I mean, that was like, you know, yeah, you're probably right, even a tournament's worth.
Great pickup from Rams on the lead cord there. So athletic and so fun to watch, so smooth. Yeah, with McNerney standing on the net, that was not a great decision there from Bostrom.
So confident in his abilities that he certainly can make that shot. Just a question of percentages, timing.
Wow, a couple of strange errors from Lofgren.
They're working on Lofgren. Got the spike there. Nice shot. Oh! Casual. He had the turnaround drive. He knew no one was there. He just couldn't get quite behind it enough. Oh! I mean, that was there. No, I like it. I think he's got to play the shot. I would have played it to the bigger part of the court, towards McNerney's side, but
Point for all. Rams had 2 feet in the green as he made that volley. Great court positioning.
he moved that wide because the ball went all the way to the outer screen. It's a smart play.
It looked like an intentional switch at the net there to get the Rams overhead in the middle. Really surprised if you don't see a very patient point here from Lofgren McNerney.
Oh, they are doing a great job getting it deep and right at that corner.
That was
right
a
crease.
vicious nick.
It was great. And it's now Lofgren can recognize that, call out the help, or he's got to take it on the half volley. Either shot is difficult. You know, when it goes right in there, clearly the play would be to block it, but
That ball went directly sideways off the nick, right along the back wire. Those are the hardest ones to adjust to.
yeah, that overhead long, deep, right at the crease, right at the player is crucial for top players to use.
Bostrom switching back to the backhand side.
That was a good bail from McNerney. He opted not to close in. Oh!
Anytime they hit that back wire against Bostrom, they're paying for it.
That was a great shot. Lofgren's got to get all the way out into his alley when that ball goes wide.
As opposed to exactly what we saw Rams do on the other side.
Correct. Absolutely. Just in the wrong spot there on that shot.
You have no chance to flip your paddle and hit a forehand volley at the speed of that drive.
Yeah, not there, not against Bostrom. And that's, it's just the wrong spot. I mean, Lofgren can make that volley all day long if he's in the right spot.
Those shots, it looks like a physical error, but happens to be a mental error.
And it's also a great shot for Bostrom, but these players are going to make those.
So much of the damage right now is coming off of the Bostrom backhand.
Ooh, I think he pushed it long. All right, take the air.
So there you saw the essence of Martin Bostrom in 2 points. The brilliant backhand down the line, and then just a casual missed overhead.
Nice blitz move from McNerney.
Got to be amongst the best players in the country of that. He and Sven Burish. I'm not counting Durant because he stands in the service line half the time.
Yeah, there are a lot of great blitzing players. And some players even more. And obviously, Rise, great blitzers. So is Frazier. But some guys use it more. You know, like McNerney definitely uses it more. Durant, like you said, is very aggressive in this position. I expected to see some of it coming from the Rams today, actually, but I don't think there's been the opportunity, honestly. I think they're settling into what they want to do.
As you mentioned earlier, right now we're seeing 80% of the balls go from Rams to Lofgren.
Yep, no, I mean, it's going to bring that up if it continues. They're definitely working over Lofgren. I would not be surprised if we occasionally see a switch in the backcourt. I wouldn't mind seeing it. here and there, just to change the look in the backcourt here and there. But right now, this is the point they want to play. The only issue in this point is they got to find the opportunity before these guys find that ball right into the crease, right?
And that all starts with lobbing them out of the service box.
Yep, absolutely. But this is the point. I mean, locking out there. This is perfect. It's working.
50-50 ball, 60-40 ball.
I don't know. I don't mind it. He could have gotten behind it, moved through it better. I don't love the way he played it, but it was a high ball and he had them bailing. It's a shot.
Yep.
So,
Just at this point of the match, you just have to execute.
sure.
Right shot. Got to make it. If you don't make it, then it wasn't the right shot to some degree. This level.
I mean, that's an impossible thing to say, but I guess so. Yeah.
These matches are separated by so little. And there you see a mental error from Rams. He's bailing. He's behind the service line. Let the ball through. Start the point again.
Right. He didn't commit to that cut. He was it was like a halfway cutter. He was trying to put it away, then he could go all out on it. Lofgren came in and hurt him. And you're right, he should have let it go through.
It's overly simplistic, but you're talking about the mental errors from Bostrom Rams. Oh, brilliant shot there. Brilliant ball.
The difference between that backhand chip and the one before is his balance and his weight going forward versus he had complete control of what he was doing versus the other one. That was a great shot, and he completely surprised him. What a great shot.
I'm saying that it's the comparison of the mental errors coming out of Bostrom Rams versus the physical errors from Lofgren and McNerney. Lofgren and McNerney are making virtually no mental mistakes. You've seen, even this game, you've seen 3 or 4 really bad errors from Bostrom Rams.
Yeah. Yeah, and with the brilliance, this is what we knew we were going to get, and there it is. Break point now. So great job, but they're going to take advantage of these. This is where the game's going to live for Lofgren and McNerney. They have to take advantage. When they got the errors early, 4 or 5 lob errors, they were up 3-0, right? The errors stopped. Now they're down 4-3, right? You know, they're getting a few errors now again. They got to capitalize.
There have definitely been some donations this game from Bostrom Rams. Lofgren step in and take that one early. Rams is looking for that nick.
Oh, he finds a little bit of a stab move there from Lofgren.
Yeah.
He didn't move up the wire to go get it, but that was a great shot.
Very impressed with the new McNerney forehand. Much better.
Yeah, it's compact, and he's coming through it. He's got topspin, and he's spotting it really well. Spotting it. He's not crushing it. It's not. It's never going to be, I don't think, like a thunder forehand or a thumper. But if he spots it and hits it like that with that economical stroke, that's great.
Rams really set that whole point up with a couple of great lobs.
Yep.
Forced a weaker overhead. They're switched, as you were looking for, but they're switching back. Obviously not looking to play that way long term.
Well, my only thought on it is that Lofgren can't play that corner for sure, and I don't really see a huge benefit to switching back in terms of offense. It's actually more of a defensive thought on my 90% of the net points right now that Bostrom, and Rams are getting, it's just into that ad point. I mean, how many have they won in the other corner?
Yeah, just a different look.
Just a different look. Change it around here and there, or even just give Lofgren a break.
Certainly looked like he needed one. Oh, Rams with a missed overhead. Needed one on that last point, that kind of stab ball off the wires.
There you go again, though. But this game is all about the patience and discipline, like we were talking about at Lofgren McNerney, against just the occasional brilliance and the occasional error of Bostrom Ramses. Exactly as we were talking about before.
Bostrom has served a tremendous game. I think he's vaulted once. Probably our 12th point.
Yeah, you mentioned it before. He's got a great save. One of the better saves. And everything he does is easy, like in terms of just the easy power he can put on the ball, the easy spin. He can hit it harder and spin it all the way from the due side, way into the other corner, but he doesn't need to. Nice cover. Lob and blitz.
The discipline only to hit one ball and let the rest of them go through.
Perfectly played, yes. He not only blitzed, he moved to the side and to his right, so he knew he was going to get it with his backhand volley. He's committing to one shot only. If it goes in there, he'll take it as an offensive volley. Anything else, let's go through. Good discipline. Exactly what Lofgren McNerney wants. Brilliance and errors. That's it. 4-all, but a perfect game from Lofgren McNerney. Exactly what we're probably going to see for the whole rest of the match. You know? But that should resonate also with McNerney and Lofgren. That's the type of game that they need to win. You know, the faster they're going to go, it's not going to be better for them. But well done.
Great little flick backhand there. And what a blitz from McNerney.
Yep, McNerney
Misses it
read
wide. Perfect
Bostrom,
play, just missed it.
Yeah, but Bostrom played his shot nicely. He saw a little space where he can make McNerney reach. You know, and he hit a slippery little volley in there, made it tough on McNerney.
I got you.
He also hit at the right pace where McNerney really couldn't let it go through. Yeah, they had to go for it. That's wide. All right.
I look to see Bostrom kind of step up, take one of those backhands off the deck. McNerney trying to get the ball on the side wire against him.
Yeah, you know, it's funny you're saying that. I was just about to kind of talk about that because you would think more people would do that more often. Is that out?
Yep.
15:30, yep. So, but twice early on, you saw Bostrom move in, and both times McNerney got it over his head. I think he might be slightly gunshot. And he does probably, I mean, the Burris, without a doubt, has one of the best waterfalls in the country for sure. McNerney's right there. So he just controls it so well. That's a great shot off the top of the net. It's an unexpected bounce. McNerney can't come up with it.
Is that Bostrom who said sorry?
He did.
He didn't look very sorry to me, Brad.
Yeah. I think he felt bad as a gentleman that he did not intend to hit the top of the net. But he's really happy about winning that game and that point.
So there you see it. That game took what? 90 seconds?
Right.
120 seconds? Last game was 10 minutes?
Yeah, the game's all going to come down to McNerney and Lofgren. I wouldn't say point, but getting Bostrom and Rams to make errors, right?
They need errors from Bostrom and Rams. If this is going to be a tennis match, they're going to lose.
Right, and if it's going to be like that game, we had a missed wide ball from McNerney. It's all going to be about them capitalizing on errors. I think there were 6 or 7 errors in that last game that Bostrom and Rams lost. Probably 7. And then it was deuce back and forth affair, right?
Philippe Rams will serve for the first set. and they've really neutralized that Lofgren backhand the last 4 or 5 games.
They're doing a really good job attacking his corner now. Ooh. Yeah, speaking of that, why that ball doesn't go to the middle of the court, I'm not sure. But they've done a good job, speaking of like attacking the Lofgren corner, the mixing up down up to the side with spin to long and deep in his body. They've gotten Lofgren sort of, I wouldn't say he's uncomfortable by any means, but he's having to guess what they're doing. He's going to have to read a lot more stuff off their paddle a little better. Like when they let the ball start to drop, then you know it's going to come long in action, right? And when they start taking the ball up higher, you know they're going to cut it down, and they're a little quicker read on that, just a slight bit. Off base ball from Rams, back mouse.
Well, he's also been in a much more defensive mode over there, which is going to prevent you from lobbing really well, too. Got to bail on that ball.
Yeah, I think you have two choices. You get right on top and move over, but I think that clearly the better play is don't be halfway, though. He was halfway. Just get out of there.
He was beat before Bostrom swung the battle.
That's a great blitz. McNerney forehand, slippery little play. He gets it down, and a good quick read there from Lofgren. Communication from Bostrom. He's giving a warning. The short lob's coming.
That's because he's so used to hitting short lobs.
Go!
Great volley from Lofgren.
One too many. He got too slippery on that one. All right, so.
Watch it. You go.
Wow.
I think that was a sun miss, Mark. I think he was moving back in. You could see that sun angle right into his face.
Sun should be pretty high in the sky at 11:10.
See the angle that's on there. That's just an awesome return. What a shot from Rams.
Go! Gosh! Grab!
Wow.
Great transition play from Rams. Some of his athleticism on display there.
I mean, that was a heck of a return, and he dug it out and hit a perfect ball back.
Set
All
point.
And there you see it, like exactly what we've seen the whole day. The athleticism and the greatness and the brilliance. And the 3 points they've lost this has been a fault, miss volley wide. And
This forehand in the middle of the net.
forehand that was questionable, right?
Questionable, so kind.
Yeah, I guess it was. But those are the points they lost. It wasn't the shots that were off the McNerney and Lofgren paddles. It was off their own paddles. Right? Still, they're sitting here at set point. The brilliance is incredible when it comes.
Oh,
that's gonna
spin
be
around,
too
catch
good.
the let.
Take it. That's a great shot. Too good. Beautiful. He went offensive volley there. He read the blitz. He closed in more. And McNerney didn't quite get it down enough. So that time Rams able to volley down for set point for 2. That's a good help call, but that is wide. He's reaching again, and after being down 3-love. There's the set. So real quickly, we'll mention our other terrific sponsor today, one of them, Fusion. And Fusion is a proud partner to the APTA. Fusion curates what's next in branded gear and apparel for your company, your team, or your event. With a team of dedicated industry experts, Fusion curates high-end product selection for customization with your club logo, team name, or corporate identity. We create a stress-free shopping experience with custom online stores and quick custom ordering to get the gear you need now without any hassle. Visit www.gearbyfusion.com and let Fusion provide you with the gear to fuel your brand.
You know, it's interesting, Bradford, looking at these two teams, obviously closely matched. Bostrom and Rams are the types of talents that if they play together a whole season and figure it out, would be a threat to win nationals.
No question.
And you would not say that about Lofgren McNerney. Really good team, but you wouldn't call them, if they played together a whole season, a real threat to win nationals.
I guess I'd have to agree with you there. Yes.
Just so many weapons that Bostrom and Rams have, and that's the sort of indecision. You know, that type of ability, that many options, tends to create at times a little bit of indecision.
Sure.
And you see it because they have so many places they can hurt you. And you saw Bostrom miss that slippery forehand, as you called it. Just, you know, that's the sort of thing that separates them from the level they could be at and the level where they are at.
Sure, it's just the discipline. I mean, hitters have to hit. You got to make, do what you do. Like, you can't say, don't hit the ball, Bostrom, don't hit the ball. They got to hit it. They're going to make some errors. But it's just the discipline on certain balls. It's the 6 or 7 overheads of the lob errors. So, I mean, look at that shot there.
Yeah, I very rarely mind people missing drives, missing return of serves, missing volleys. That's going to be part of the game. It's when you miss the volley because you're out of position, or if you miss the volley because you're sort of bailing and hitting a volley from the service line. And then, of course, it's the lobs that just kill you when you start missing lobs. You got to see Martins miss again. Maybe we could, frame that and send it over to his house.
Believe me, he doesn't need it. He was already putting his hand on his head and doing what did I do that for?
Yeah.
But that being said, they win the first set 6-4 after being down 3-love and missing 5-6 lobs. They really did right the ship with incredible brilliance there. Now, what about Lofgren McNerney? What do you think's going through their heads there? Do they,
Well, I like the introduction of the Lofgren blitz. I thought that was pretty effective deep in the match. They lost the penultimate point of the set on that, but I think it's a good play. I think they just got to find a little more offense, and Lofgren has missed a few too many balls in that backhand corner, let a few too many balls find the nick, and just a couple of, look, their margin of error in this match is much lower than Bostrom and Rams. That's the key to the match, and they have not played quite to the level they needed to play. They had opportunities that set. The 4-all game, long deuce-ad game, they ended up losing. Lofgren missed a couple of balls, probably wants back, and they can't afford that.
You're 100% right there, Mark, but their opportunities that they're getting to win the games aren't coming off their paddles. It's coming off the Rams and Bostrom paddle. Rams and Bostrom missing the lob. Rams and Bostrom missing the overhead. Rams and Bostrom, right? They need to find a couple of points here or there on their paddles. Do you follow what I mean? Like where they're hitting the drive and finding the offense.
The Lofgren backhand,
yeah,
which they've really negated, which was a factor early in the match. It was not a factor the last 5-6 games. The McNerney blitz. But if that's not there, then they just can't afford to make any careless errors at all, and the margin gets even slimmer.
Yeah, so it's a 6-4 first set. I don't know, did somebody have to go back to makeup, or?
I think Philippe went back to Pittsburgh, potentially.
Went back to Pittsburgh, yeah. Little bathroom break, maybe. So a lot of the stuff I expect to see the same, but we're going to have to find some work in there for the Lofgren backhand, climbing up the wire or something. But the thing that Rams and the Bostrom are starting doing well is they're mixing in the long, deep overheads. So they're forcing, Lofgren to stay back. He's not getting his ability to come up the wire and take those early backhands. And unless they're going to find some offense off the deck, it's going to be tough unless Bostrom and Rams make a lot of errors.
Here comes Rams now. I think Bostrom has played tournaments with both Lofgren and McNerney in the past, so obviously a lot of familiarity between these teams.
I mean, McNerney's probably played with almost every partner. in the, you know,
Yes.
he's been in the top 10. He's played a lot of tournaments. This is where he gets his work in, and he feels he learns a lot with the different partners. And he's right; he's become one of the best players in the country.
Marek Chavinsky won this tournament, I think 3 years ago, pre-pandemic. Beat Uriah Parsons in the finals. I think it was 19, fall of 19, maybe fall of 18. It starts out with a fault.
Ooh, that was a tough, hard overhead. I like the fact that Lofgren challenged him with that. He knew he couldn't get a ball that they couldn't drive. That's the struggle. When you have that, if they lob well, Rams and Bostrom, there literally is no place to hit the ball where Rams and Bostrom can't get a drive. Very little. If they lob well, Bostrom and Rams, there'll be no place for the opponents to hit a ball.
Sun miss also, Bradford?
No, sun's the other way. We just call that a miss.
Big shout out to Bill O'Brien of Chicago, inducted to the APTA Hall of Fame. A true gentleman, just a great person in our game, has done so much for Chicago paddle and national paddle, been president of the APTA. All kudos to Bill. I'm so excited for him.
That's a great dipping return. Lofgren right there, but they just dipping down low. So tough to make that volley time and time again. There's the first Rams blitzes there that I've seen. The flow. Good
So
hand-to-hand
good at it.
range. Yeah, he's terrific at it, but Lofgren up to the task there. I really see the other side. Let's see if Rams and Bostrom switch back. Now, the clear biggest difference when they're like this is, yeah, Rams can get that chip backhand, but it's a far cry difference from the Bostrom backhand. That's just an awesome drop volley, and it's something Lofgren has. He's got one of the best drop volleys in the game. He stands right on top of the net, but that was off a tough shot from Rams.
That was tremendous.
That's a perfect Bostrom drive there. He's going for the kind of three-quarter drive, but he's hitting it up enough, just trying to find a spot, create a weaker ball. All right, so add here from McNerney Lofgren. It's important to get off to a good start.
Volley from Bostrom there.
Great volley, a little dangerous on the overhead. He needed to get it closer to the side wire, so he went to the side screen. Popped out. It's the point they want to play, but they got to lob some more too. And one of the biggest differences, like we talked about, is McNerney and Lofgren want to lob well and take their spot drives, but there's still occasional spots where they can hit the ball, Rams and Bostrom, if McNerney and Lofgren lob well. Still, there's some safe spots. Almost none against Rams and Bostrom. Great grip.
Gosh, Graham!
This is such a good volley. I mean, McNerney took a good drive there. It's a great shot, just a great volley back from Rams.
Catches the nick there. And the nick is only effective when you're able to pull the top players out of the corner. When they're in the corner, 9 times out of 10, they're going to read it anyway.
Oh!
Bostrom catches the lead cord. Back to deuce. I think this is a really important game for Lofgren and McNerney to kind of stem the tide. Stop the freight train you described earlier.
Yeah, I mean, they're up 3-love, and it's 6 games to 1 now, the last 7, so definitely important for them to get off
Breathe
to
there
the
for
start.
Rams.
Because as you said, there's less breathing room for Lofgren McNerney, Mark. You know, because it's not likely they can win a game quickly, right?
Unless it's donated.
Unless it's done. That's a good help call. I want to hear more of those from Lofgren.
He's got to push him deeper in the cord. Got to push him back to get some swings with that backhand. Rams hitting that overhead with 2 feet in the service box. Not getting the ball you can swing at.
Low. They're making him reach low. He's a tall guy. He's probably 6'2", 6'3", Lofgren.
Yep.
You know, he's actually bending his back a lot. They're working him over pretty good in there.
So where's the offense going to come from? A bad overhead?
Yeah.
A Lofgren backhand or a McNerney blitz? That's pretty much it. Whereas with Bostrom Rams, the list is endless.
But this is the point they have to play. They just got a lot better get their strikes.
There's a good lob. Got to create more movement at the net. That's the whole point.
I was just about to say before you tank that over, what's good about this point is not the quality of the shots from McNerney, but the mental work it's doing on Bostrom and Rams. That's the only thing you can really say about that type of point. So I'm saying that he actually forced that error just by doing nothing. You know, Rams is finally going to miss something. He cuts it, it goes for a little too much. He was letting that ball drop.
Got a nice view of Ann Waldron, who runs the live streaming for the APTA. Shout out to her. She does such a tremendous job, spends so much time and effort on it.
It's a great blitz from Bostrom there. A two-handed attack on McNerney, and he got the better of him. So awesome job, because McNerney's tough in hand-to-hand. That's the loose error that they... That's still a good drive, though. One point now for Bostrom.
Come on.
2 lead cords Bostrom got that game. 1 break point, game point, and 1 break point. And that's the difference.
Well, when it runs well, it runs well. And as you said, guys like Bostrom and Rams who take a lot of risks and drive a lot of balls, inherently you're just going to get more let cords, right? You don't get let cords when you lob, right? You only get them when you drive.
The line from the great John Milbank.
Yep. And he's right. I mean, so he's going to take more risks. He's going to get more let cords. And something like that will make a difference in this match. And it just did right there.
Also a big shout out to Bruce Redpath, who put this whole thing together at Philly Cricket. Bruce is a member there, longtime player.
He's a legendary guy, Bruce Redpath. I've had played him in the past, Redpath and Hyde, right?
Yep, Larry Hyde. Had some experiences with those guys.
Larry Hyde with an exceptionally great mustache, I must admit.
15 love.
Yeah.
First missed forehand we've seen from McNerney in a while.
Short, Randy. No.
Trying to step up and cut one off. I think I like that move. He's going to have to make it here and there. There he looks again, but good overhead at the body. Excellent lead from Bostrom there.
in survival mode over there, Lofgren.
That,
First one, he's really had his feet set, really got a good cut at.
that's exactly right. There's a great shot. That's been my point sort of from the beginning with why I thought maybe they would switch a little here and there, or at least change it up here and there. Now, I don't disagree that playing the long points is definitely a way to go, but you have to build something. That's just a great combination. They draw him up the wire, then hard third handle smash to bring it over his head. And also Rams in all the spots of the court. Good move. Great shots. Really working him in that corner.
A lot of little flicks from Lofgren.
I mean, they're working him, and he's, like you said, he's surviving. He's not controlling, but he's surviving, and there is something to say for that. And many people who do tune into the live streams should know that Randy Lofgren took part in the longest live stream point.
Oh, please don't say that.
He was
Are
a
you
big
implying
part
we're
of
going to
it.
get another point like that?
I'm not implying. Well, this is already a different point because these guys are going back and forth and attacking. That particular point, there was just lobs, and there was just baiting each other, saying who will dare to hit it. And it went 15 minutes. The guys would hit bad lobs, the guys would hit weak overheads, right? And they just pushed it back and forth at each other for 15 minutes. It was strictly a mental brother battle. You know, he was playing against each other.
I guess we have to keep two Lofgrens off the court against each other.
Yeah, but my point is that he's willing to play out here and just survive. You know, these points. That's my point. He's not going to get too much. And then it's another let court winner. And things are rolling right now for Bostrom and Rams. Good survival point. I don't disagree with it. And he took 4 or 5 drives in that point, but all volleyed well. Bostrom and Rams.
Two hands.
He's the one-hander. He must be really feeling it now if he's using a one-hander.
That's 30-15 here. That's what I want to see more from Lofgren.
Yeah, he's stepping to the middle and taking it now when he lobs it down the line enough. He's starting to look more. I mean, they're volleying them all back, but
that's okay. He just needs to start being in control of some of the points. Bostrom catches the nick, and it's 40-15.
I think it was a Rams cutoff, actually. He cut it off and slammed it into, I mean, one of the few points they've gotten in that corner. They're not going there.
Fortunately, John Lubau is there. He'll be chasing that ball down for us, although he probably can't throw it all the way back to the court. He had a pathetic retrieval yesterday.
Did he not? Sadly, I missed it, but I'll have to catch it on the replays.
Apparently made the previous court. It's going downhill really fast now. What do you think Lofgren and Ernie have to do to kind of stabilize things? Maybe Lubau is there.
At this point, I think they got to reach for some different stuff. I mean, they're having struggle finding it, but I don't think. Do you think the way they played that game was bad?
Nope. Thought it was a solidly played game. They got a couple of bad breaks. The let court overhead winner, but they got to find more offense from the backcourt right now because they're not getting the donations.
Yeah,
where's it coming from?
That's right. And then when they do get a few donations, they have to capitalize. But right now, you know, it's Rams and Bostrom just basically rolling.
Great rip there from Bostrom.
I mean, that's a perfect shot, and it's right there in the corner, and it's just another great play. But set up by the good lob that we talked about. If you get these guys, if they can lob over and get them behind the service line, they're going to get a drive, and there is no place for them to hit the ball, McNerney. And
Gets 15-30.
I'm not sure if there's a way for them to win this match ball for ball other than mentally. So I'm trying to figure out how they can do this mentally. Can they play 9,000 balls and get them to, do it? I mean, I'm not sure how they can win it otherwise. How do you physically see them winning this match? I'll better get more strikes.
Right with you. 30 all, I think. The match resides on the paddles of Bostrom and Rams. I don't think there's any question about that. And if they're not donating, they're going to win the match.
McNerney and Lofgren can hit the cut overheads and can put the ball away at the net, but if they lob decently, nobody can put the ball away at the net if you lob decently.
Yep.
That's a great shot. That's unbelievable. Did that go over?
Nope.
Did I miss that? Did not. Okay.
It's at the top of the tape, and it's 30-40. Good swing. That's his shot. No criticism there at all. Just missed it. I mean, I do think that one of the things that has to happen is Lofgren and McNerney have to spend more time at the net. These points are taking on a familiar pattern.
Yeah, but if those guys lob well, it's going to be hard to stay at the net. I think almost impossible to continue to stay at the net.
Yep.
Unless they go to maybe an I formation and take some risks up there. Not 100% sure that they're going to be able to do that. I think when they're back here, they're just going to have to find a way to grit out some points. One or two long point wins can make a huge difference.
Back to deuce.
We just got to get the first game under the belt. That's it.
Bostrom and Rams really lobbing well.
Yeah.
Last 10 minutes or so.
And then you see it just opens up, and there Rams actually blitzed in, and there was no call from Lofgren there telling him that he's in. And McNerney hits the push overhead basically, and Rams attacks it. Got to know where your opponents are. If you're looking up the lot, it's important for your partner to tell you you're at the net. Yeah, that's a good cut there from Rams. Looked like he went for more though, like really a hard hit.
But no problem with that swing at all.
Absolutely not. Is there, I'm trying to figure out, just so good.
Great blitz,
So
great
good.
read.
Totally read. We talked about the ability to kind of, and McNerney's ability to bounce it over their heads, but he was all over that one, Rams. Quick lob made the difference. Quick lob with the move forward. McNerney took the bait.
Oh! What an exchange!
So good, Mark.
And that's what you talked about earlier, Brad, to see the Rams blitzing behind the Bostrom driving, which would make this team so dynamic.
It's just another element. I expect to see a little more of that. I actually just feel like they're more comfortable now, so he's feeling his ability to use his skills more, actually, as they're taking this lead. And the only negative to that, the flip side of that, is these guys can get too creative, like sometimes.
Well, it's that fine line.
Yep.
You
Is
have
there
so many options.
a more fluid player, though, than Rams?
The only one that's close is Juan Araya. And Araya winds much better, unquestionably.
Well, if you asked if there's a better whiner on the court, I don't know.
There's no competition
There's
there.
no competition for Araya there.
Rams is just so smooth and so natural. He's so much fun to watch.
Yeah, no, that's just some brilliant stuff.
This thing's going down the tubes fast right now.
Yeah, it's just hard for them to, without the donations, the skill set of Rams and Bostrom. I mean, it would be a curious team to see. Both Rams and Bostrom have played with partners in the past where they've been, more the alpha player, right? And trying to do more. Both Rams and Bostrom have an alpha set of skills. And if they can combine it, I mean, sky's the limit, really.
Yeah, as I said, I think this team could be a threat to win nationals, assuming they're playing any of the tournaments together this year.
Sure. I mean, but, Bostrom asked me years ago, if I thought he could win a national. I said, absolutely win a national championship. Yeah.
I had the same conversation with him. He said, do you think I'm talented enough to win nationals? My answer was physically yes, mentally no. They could give away too many points, and he's really worked hard to stop that. And has improved enormously. I think Martin's been to the quarterfinals of the Nationals 7-8 times.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he's going to get there, without any problems. It's the next couple that are the problem, right? The quarters last year, and they give him a lot they can handle, but misses here and there to our national champions.
A couple of years ago, he and Blake Anderson had match points at Darien 2020 Nationals against Burris Urdoya. Actually, to his credit, Bostrom played a ball that chair umpire would have called out, would have substantiated an out call, up match point.
Yep, they actually, I was calling that match. They would have won it right there. I mean, luckily enough, they wouldn't have been able to play the next day. It kind of worked out the way it worked out because Blake Anderson had sprained his ankle in that game pretty badly.
Huge. Such a great effort from Anderson that day.
And it's just been a sort of like, it seems like from that moment on, it's been one injury after the other for Blake Anderson. I haven't been able to see him out here consistently.
40-15.
A lot of fast points now. A couple of opportunities to go up 4-love.
Well, it's a tricky business now, too, because we're asking them to find some more points on their paddles, but the more they go for the drives, the more they're going to make some errors.
Yep.
And it ultimately, they need a few of the points, but we all know that the faster it gets and the more McNerney and Lofgren drive, the worse it's probably going to get for them. They need to drive at the right time in the right spot with a specific pressure ball.
And you see the difference in the pressure the overheads are having now. Bostrom Rams really putting a lot of pressure on them. Okay, new ball after 7 games.
All right. We'll do a quick Paddle Pro read here. This is the last game for over 20 years. Paddle Pro has been recognized as an industry leader in platform tennis. The knowledge, expert advice, vast inventory, and ultimate customer service will help any player find the perfect equipment to take your game to the next level. Paddle Pro is the only website to carry all platform tennis brands, and for more information, go to www.paddlepro.com. So, Mark, just rolling, right?
Yep, you had that 4-all game, a lot of opportunities. Do sad game. Since then, they haven't won a game.
That lob right on the line.
Boy, Lofgren looks, body language is not great right now.
It's a little bit of a defeated look, right? Like nothing's going right. They're getting lead cords.
And in fairness to Lofgren, first tournament of the year, living down in Charlotte, you have to wonder how much high-level paddle he's gotten.
Sure.
But right now, this thing is virtually over.
One of the things that makes Lofgren a great player is he's a battler. He's a definite battler, but here, it's been tough to find the places to battle. And another one of our proud sponsors, and that was a good 20 seconds ago when that game was started and I led the last one, is Fusion. And a proud sponsor to the APTA. Fusion curates what's next in branded gear and apparel for your company, your team, or your events. With a team of dedicated industry experts, Fusion curates high-end product selections for customization with your club logo, team name, or corporate identity. And they create a stress-free shopping experience with custom online stores and quick custom ordering to get the gear you need without any hassle. Visit www.gearbyfusion.com and let Fusion provide you with gear to fuel your brand. And Not even enough time to get in these sponsor reads with how fast these games are going.
Yeah. Now, one of the changes that Bostrom and Rams have made that I really like is letting Rams hit more of the overheads. And I think that's been really effective. He has really bothered Lofgren in that corner.
No question.
And he's a much more natural volleyer than Bostrom.
Yeah.
He's able to volley from off the net more, whereas Bostrom needs to be on top of the net to really volley well.
Yeah, but Bostrom's volley has improved a bunch over the years. It's actually pretty solid. We won a hand exchange with McNerney. That being said, he did with the ground serve first, but good play.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Coming to you. Yep. Help. Yep. Go.
It's been a much better game from Lofgren and McNerney. Generating a lot more offense from the backcourt. I mean, obviously we're helped by the early fault, but lobbing better, getting some swings from the backcourt.
Yep.
I mean, that's the first backhand return to serve you've seen from Lofgren that had an impact in a while.
That was great. I mean, tough run of games there, but good job in that game. That's what we need to see more of.
Yep. I got.
That's a good cut there.
It's up.
Oh,
That looked like a tired miss to me, Brad. Just didn't move back at all.
yeah. Didn't get back behind it. Went for the hard swinging volley. Top of the paddle.
Disappointing.
Love 15.
I got it. One. Yep. Yep.
Good close from Lofgren, but he's too far off the net to begin with, and he had to race in to close, so he pops the volley long.
2 points from the match.
That's just beautiful. Rams going from one side to the court, comes in, cuts off the other volley, and
Triple match point.
triple match point it is.
Read in the nick there from Bostrom.
Yep.
I tell you, Mark, this is a talented team. Rams Bostrom. Fun to watch.
There's that short backhand that we talked about from Bostrom. It's so effective.
Now, just the onslaught. Great drives. Great drive there from Lofgren, saves one match point. And there it is. Game, set, match. Bostrom Rams 6-4, 6-1. Any closing thoughts, Bradford? I mean, just it's exactly what we were talking about the whole match. You know, once Bostrom and Rams settled down on their mistakes, it was just hard for Lofgren and McNerney, as much as they were grinding and fighting to find points. And at the end there, it almost felt like Lofgren felt like, I'm not sure what else I can do out here, you know, and just a great job and a talented team that I hope we see a bit more of.
Yeah, I would echo that. I really would like to see more of these guys. I think they have a threat to really go deep at nationals. A lot of fun to watch, a lot of talent. Okay, Bradford. Oh, as always, a pleasure doing the match with you, and that's a wrap from the Philly Cricket Classic Men's Final. We'll be back next weekend with the APTA Tour at the legendary Chicago Charities Grand Prix.
See you in Chicago, everyone.
Good night.